We're so excited that we're Teri Tomlinson here tonight. Let me give you a short bio, which is quite impressive. This is our first weekend of the month product focus training by our Elite Pro 6, Dr. Teri Tomlinson. She is taking us on a deep dive into activation protocol. She studied natural health for more than 40 years. She's a board-certified natural master herbalist, certified national. We love to hear that because we are so into natural and natural activation. Certified weight loss coach and Qigong and Tai Chi master trainer. She was presented a Higher Achievement Award for naturopathic doctors, the American Naturopathic Association. Wow, we are very privileged to have you here tonight, and I'm sure everyone has their notebooks and their pens, and we are just so excited to hear from you. The things that you're going to show us, this is our flagship product, everyone. This is the main reason why LifeVantage is. Please take it away, Dr. Teri, and share with the LifeVantage family all the wonderful information that we're about to learn from you. Dr. Teri, take it away.
Thank you so much, Christiana. I'm super excited to be here tonight. I think the build-up sounds a little bit intense, but I am so excited about LifeVantage. Give a little background. I got into mental health the way a lot of people get into it. First, you're sick, and you need to figure out how to get well. I grew up during the era of penicillin. My mom was the penicillin queen. Back in the day, we didn't really know the effect of antibiotics on the body long term. And we had a family doctor that came to our house at least every other month to give me a shot of penicillin. And I just ongoing had everything from pneumonia, bronchitis, holes in my eardrum. I could never get my ear wet. I was just sick all the time as a child, and then moving into my early 20s. I had developed asthma, more tests, more shots, more doctors, ultimately developing a heart problem in and out of emergency rooms. I mean, I was just really sick all the time, but it seemed normal because I was doing the same things my family did, had a team of doctors. And meanwhile, I had 4 major, very serious accidents, 2 of which I broke my back. My upper back and my lower back, 2 separate occasions. I also was run over by a car. That was seriously painful. And my first accident happened to be a head-on collision where I put my car 8 times, chipped my neck bone, injured my sciatica. And my orthopedic doctor, whom I love, great doctor, told me I would lay in traction 3 to 4 times a year for the rest of my life, and I did for 10 years. And that was before I rolled off a horse backwards onto my head and broke my upper back first time. So long story short, in that accident, I was in a back brace for 3 months and got tricked into going to this amazing massage therapist, sports medicine guy. And in one session, he taught me something I didn't know, and it was life-changing. And that is about muscle memory and how your cells will react to old injuries, etc. And so meanwhile, I had a disruption in my life. My father suddenly died of a massive heart attack at 53 years of age, followed by my mother only 5 years later, age 57, lung cancer. And for me, it was just kind of like an awakening, because I thought, holy cow, I'm doing the same thing they did. I have a huge team of doctors, orthopedics in general, and you know what. And I'm still sick, staying sick all the time, and way sicker than they were probably at my age. And that is what shifted my gears. So I first sought out an herbalist. I was taking 19 different herbs, 2 or 3 capsules 3 times a day. I would literally make a bowl of herbs. My husband thought I'd lost my ever-loving mind. And, but in taking these things 3 times a day, I would tease that I didn't even have to eat food. It was so many herbs, but I did see a little light at the end of the tunnel. And then moving forward, a product came on the market that got my attention because it kind of cut out some of all these herbs. Meanwhile, I started studying for myself. I thought, I was really marketed to in the allopathic world. and I know what level of training people really had in the natural health world. So I decided I need to learn for myself. And that's kind of how I got this education. And I tell people, I promise you, I am certified in every modality of natural healing, bar none, but only for the purpose of living till I die without being on a respirator. Okay. And so that's kind of my history in health. So I got so passionate about this product that didn't require as many herbs as I was taking, and became the #1 distributor in the world. And I kind of tell you that just to kind of give you also a business side to it, because I became the #1 distributor by accident. It was about my passion. I want everyone to know and understand that I believe that the body is designed by God to heal itself. And if we can get positioned properly, it takes place. For myself personally, I'll be 74 years old in April, and I can tell you, I ran the Disney Half Marathon. I can do 40 jumping jacks off the ground, and since LifeVantage, I have absolutely zero pain in my body. I've been involved with the company 7 years, and I'm going to share with you, of course, the flagship product, the activators that we have in LifeVantage that I take absolutely every single day. My entire family does. Okay, so I'm going to start with the flagship product, which is the Protandim NRF2. And what I will tell you about that is when I was introduced to the product, it was simply with the ABC primetime video. And I was caught off guard, I'll be honest with you, because I would get a lot of calls being in my position in a company, #1 distributor, okay? And so I would get calls all the time, and I just, you don't have time to research everything, though there's wonderful companies out there. And so one day I get a phone call, and I'm caught off guard, and it's a friend of mine that I knew had lupus, and I'm always available to talk to people about whatever I could possibly share with them to help them get back to balance. And so she asked for my time. You know, did I have a few minutes? Yes, I do. Sitting in front of my computer. What do you need? How can I help you? She wants me to watch a video. And guys, I will tell you, I about fell out of my chair. I'm like, oh my gosh, because I can't say I can't do it. I already said I have time. And thank the Lord, because I did watch the video, and I had already told her, you know, I promise you, there's probably nothing new under the sun. I have two companies I've used for now almost 45 years, but at the time, 7 years ago. And, you know, one company, I've got over 650 herbs, tinctures, Bach flower remedies, essential oils. You know, each company has different combinations of great quality stuff, but I'm good. But I watched this video, and I'm thinking to myself, you're telling me after all of my studying that I take this little yellow tablet and all this amazing stuff's going to happen. You know, I can't understand it. But what I did understand was that there's a lot of science. So I called her back and I said, you know what? You did get my attention, but I have to marinate on this and I'll get back with you. And for 3 days, when I say I watched it 100 times, I'm not exaggerating. I really did. And then I told my husband, I'm going to have to fly out to this company because I can't wrap my thoughts around this. I just couldn't. I didn't understand. I have a master's in herbology, for Pete's sake, you know. So I did. And I was very fortunate to sit with the developers and have them help me understand that everything I knew yesterday, God's Pharmacy, which I know and love deeply, has been shifted to nutrigenomics, taking natural compounds and creating a synergy to literally communicate with the cells on the cellular level. And guys, I will tell you, the company had a brochure, and they have lots of things. This particular brochure in writing was and is still my very personal favorite. Here's the reason why. I've been in natural health so long that in my town, I live in Florida, I remember a time when they were trying to get herbs on a pharmaceutical level, and there were tarps all over the herbs in the health food stores. And you're not allowed to say that an herb is going to heal anything, take care of anything, fix anything. You had to use terms like historical uses, like elderberry historically has been used during the H1N1 virus to keep viruses from attaching inside the body, etc. And so I go to this company, and there's a brochure that says in writing, which I read to everybody within my 3 minute radius. Protandim NRF2 Synergizer is the only supplement proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 1 month. It goes on to say that it's going to increase superoxide dismutase. This is an enzyme that is gone from our body typically by the time we're 20 years old. And along with catalase, which would be increased by 54% according to this writing, those two together work in tandem to activate the body to produce 1 million antioxidants every second of the day. Like in writing, you can say that. Guys, you have no idea how big that is to me as a natural health professional, as a naturopathic doctor. It goes on to say it's going to increase glutathione, the master regulator of the body, by 300%. And then it says in writing that the lipid peroxidation older subject is going to be leveled out. Like if they drew blood to do what's called a T-bar test, testing the telomeres in your blood, not an easy test and not a cheap test to have done and not necessary. But if they did it, they could not tell if that blood came from a 20-year-old or an 80-year-old person. I mean, mind-blowing. And so I came back from the company like armed with this information. And I told my husband, I don't care if I'm the #1 distributor in the world. My product that I love, 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 love delivered 2,500 units of antioxidants. And I can put a yellow tablet in the body that will produce 1 million per second, every second of the day. It's like taking a Dixie cup of water with what I had and throwing it on a house fire. I mean, complete game changer. And so I knew as a naturopath, I could not tell people about this. I just couldn't not tell people. And so I told my husband I'd have to call my company because, believe me, if your picture's in every box around the world and all of a sudden somebody calls the company and says you're building another company, there's a problem. So he had to know that this product is a food product. This product is an activation product. And I hope that you guys kind of understand the difference. So when you're talking to somebody and they look at the bottle, which I would have done too, and they see milk thistle and they go, oh, I take milk thistle. Turmeric, oh, I take turmeric. Green tea, drink it every day. Not the same thing as creating a synergy to communicate with those cells and turn on the body's ability to produce antioxidants like when you were a small child. And by the way, antioxidants stop free radical damage. And if you stop the damage, guess what? You stop the body's response because your brain gets a signal when there's damage. Like, for example, if you cut your finger, your brain's going to get a signal, there's damage. It's going to signal the tiny blood vessels to see plasma to go to the area and eat up the damaged tissue. That's our body's first line of defense, and it's a good thing. Problem is if our microbiome, our friendly bacteria, is not up to speed, our immune system is not strong enough to complete the healing properly, brain is going to continue to get a signal. Now we're in trouble. Body filling up with the inflammatory response, which is linked to every chronic degenerative disease in modern society, bar none. I don't care if it's cancer, diabetes, arthritis, you name it, it is about that inflammatory response. So you can see why I got so excited. I did not care about what would happen to me in my other company because, are you kidding me here? This is an amazing product. And then to top it off, there's over 30 independently peer-reviewed studies. One of them is, well, I know you guys, or most of you may have already heard, Washington State University says it may be the most extraordinary preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine when they did their study, because when this ABC primetime video aired, all of these people wanted to disprove it. All of these institutions. And so there's been so many studies, like the National Institute on Health did a 10-year, $10 million study looking for natural compounds that would extend lifespan. And guess what? Even taking the ingredients separately did not do it. Protandim NRF2 did. It shows that it increased lifespan 7% in male mice. Oh my gosh, there's so much science behind it, which gives so much credibility. And then you put patents on top of it. Guys, you can't get a patent on carrots or herbs or anything else when it comes to food, because anybody can have that. It's because in the science, there's so much proof that all of this is going to take place that they have patents on it. It's astounding. And every time I talk about it, I get equally as excited, and I've been talking about it solid for 7 years, okay? So meanwhile, they came out with another activator. And so in LifeVantage, there's, well, in general, in anti-aging, there are 3 theories on anti-aging. And so the anti-aging activators that LifeVantage has developed are all called Protandim. NRF2 is the protein, it's the pathway to that nucleus to say, look, guys, we got a lot of damage out here. You guys are falling on the job, so let's ramp it up. That's, in layman's terms, what's going on in your body. So then they came out with the second activator, which is Protandim NRF1, has a silver label. So NRF1 equally as exciting, because as we age and all of these enzymes slow down in the body and things begin to change for us, then what happens is, one of the biggest deals is our mitochondria. Mitochondria is the energy storehouse in every cell in your body, okay? So the developers came up with an activator to flip that switch and have your body producing more mitochondria. So if you can raise the energy in the cell and stop the free radical damage, guys, it's like a 1-2 punch to the body, okay? Up there and then. And then now we got to work on this immune system, because we've got the energy up, we're stopping the damage. Let's bump up that immune system so that we can have the complete healing taking place, okay? So then going from there, the company created yet another activator. This one is called NAD. And NAD, and understand, there's a big difference between supplements like NAD. There's an NAD supplement. And so if you were talking to somebody, oh, I take NAD. No, you don't. What you're taking is something that will increase a family of proteins in every cell in your body. There's 7 of them. They're called sirtuins. It will increase them 2%. If you fasted, if you were to fast, go under 500 calories, you would increase 97%, okay? Problem with fasting, and it's not a problem, but you couldn't go on under 500 calories daily forever. You can't do that. So the NAD activator will ramp you up 100%, your sirtuins doing their job in 24 hours, 100% in 24 hours. Okay, so here's the deal. What do the sirtuins do? It's kind of like, my best example is it's going to pressure wash that cell. It's going to clean out the debris, because if you looked at a cell and you've got little chips going on from all the free radical damage, and those little chips are floating around, and then you've got mitochondria that's kind of died and dried up, it's floating around, doesn't go anywhere. But the sirtuins are going to clean all that out. What do you get from that? Amazing. If you've ever fasted, you know on the second day you suddenly have this clarity, this energy. If you're really fasting, I fast, but not so much anymore, because I just take NAD and my sirtuins are doing their job. All of this like when we were small children. Okay, so it gets better than that. When you talk about these 3 products together, we call them Tri-Synergizers. because they're going in the body and flipping switches and keeping everything up and running. And so the Tri-Synergizers, they come, at least in the US, I'm not real sure about the Philippines, but this is a box of Tri-Synergizer, and they're little packets with all three in one spot, which makes it convenient to throw it in your bag and roll with it if you're traveling and so forth. But nonetheless, here's what happens. They discovered when you take all three activators together as a Tri-Synergizer, you get an abundance of increase in all the activity, huge increase. Like you get an increase of 1,563% on what your NRF2 is doing when you're taking all three. The let's see, the NRF1, I'm looking at this chart over here, is increased 120%, and the NAD 1,700%. Because taking all three together, they work synergistically together as well, and now you get this enormous increase. Guys, it is the most amazing thing in my 45 years of studying natural health. What I have learned and what I'm experiencing and what I experience within my family. I have 3 grown children, spouses. I have 5 grandchildren, and I can honestly tell you, not one of these 5 children, ages from 3.5 to 18, have ever had a sick visit to their pediatrician their entire lives. And that's going to go back to understanding how critical that immune system is, which is going to be your friendly bacteria. It's up 80% of that immune system. And guess what else? With sleeping problems, oh my gosh, it's all about that microbiome. And guess why? I don't know if you've heard that the microbiome or your gut is considered like your third brain. Well, your neurotransmitters are developed there. And you should have like 10 times 100 trillion friendly bacteria in that gut. So I'd advise everybody to make sure you're bumping up your immune system with friendly bacteria. And for those that can get that are in the United States or, wherever it's available already, because you'll all have it at some point. I'm just not sure what everybody has access to, but keep it in mind that microbiome is critical for sleep, because your neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, all of that created in the gut, and also to complete healing in your body. And I'm trying to think what else I can tell you guys when it comes to our flagship product and the other 2 activators that we have in LifeVantage. All I can tell you is, if I could go from barely breathing when I was in my late 20s to running a marathon, half marathon, and doing jumping jacks when I'm 74, it just doesn't get any better than that. And understand it's a cumulative. Like there's nothing about taking the product and tomorrow you're leaping in the air. It doesn't work that way. It just simply doesn't. Does the things in our environment affect us? Absolutely. Do the things we put in our body affect us? Absolutely. And one last tip I'll give you before I call this done, for what I have to say, is I love to tell people that people call me all the time and they want me to write a diet for them. And I will never do it, because the minute I tell you what to eat, you're going to tell me what you like and what you don't like. And so here's what I would tell you is, if we had to go out on this earth, we don't have any conveniences, no refrigerator, no grocery store, no restaurant. We have to go get food. I guarantee you 80% anything you're going to eat is going to come off a bush or a tree pulled up out of the ground. If you could catch a rabbit or spear a fish, you'd have a feast. And for those that fish, let's face it, we don't get a fish every day. Okay. So that's your 80-20 balance. And if you want to just kind of check yourself on it, I love telling people this: get a piece of paper, draw a line down the center of that paper, and every time you put something in your mouth, put it down on left or right. So if it's a fruit or a vegetable, a whole food thing, put it on the left. If it's even nuts, seeds, grains, bread, big fat piece of chocolate cake, whatever, put that on the right, and you're going to be able to visually see how you're doing with the food you're choosing to put in your body. The last thing I'll leave you with, because I started to talk about this study that was in the Circulation Journal from the American Heart Association. And this journal goes out to every cardiologist in the nation. And I love this article because it says, in conclusion, Protandim, we're talking about NRF2 here, also prevented the death of heart cells. Doesn't say your heart feels a little bit better. Prevents the death of heart cells, significantly lowers osteo levels more than 50%. It has the ability to effectively activate the transcription factor NRF2 signal to the cell's DNA to increase an expression of a network of antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, and anti-fibrotic genes. Goes on to say that it preserves the expression of vascular endothelial growth factor and prevents right ventricle failure without modifying lung angioproliferation. Guys, this is a natural product. And to get this kind of verbiage in writing, and Federal Trade doesn't shut the company down, you got to know and understand it's the science, and there's so much of it. And so with that, I'm going to turn the call back over to you.
That is absolutely astounding. Just all that information. And I'm wondering, is it possible you could send a copy of that article, email it to Kai Hayes,
Sure.
so she might be able to put it out for the rest of us? That would be amazing.